The Otis School Time Physical Literacy and Coaching Training Project was supported through funding from Makadiff Sports. Alberta Recreation and Parks Association partnered with Reach Edmonton, Be Fit for Life, and Edmonton Sport Council Play Great Committee to provide a series of training sessions to members of the Otis School Time Collaborative. Members of the Otis School Time Collaborative are mostly newcomer and refugee groups in Edmonton. Reach Edmonton hosts and supports the collaborative meetings. The project partners provided a series of training sessions including High Five, Physical Literacy, Focus on Fundamentals, Natural Coaching Certification Program Part A and Part B, and supervisory sessions.
I work for Reach Edmonton, Council for Safe Communities, and my title is Project Manager, and I am responsible for the coordination of the Out of School Time Collaborative. What is the Out of School Time Collaborative? It is an open collaboration between a number of different nonprofit agencies, community groups, local institutions, school boards that has been meeting together regularly since 2008. It formed as a response to community groups coming forward saying that they were in need of additional supports for their community kids, for children and youth from their communities, many of which were from refugee and immigrant backgrounds and communities. So it started out of that, and now it's an open collaboration of many different groups and organizations working together to find resources and supports for all children and youth who may be experiencing some sort of social vulnerability. I connected with Pam from Alberta Recreation and Parks Association, as she is also a partner with the Out of School Time Collaborative, and we talked about if this was something that we could use to support current OST programs, different kinds of training or workshop opportunities for professional development for the groups we work with. So we connected to talk about this, to apply for it, and then to plan out a series of workshops and trainings for making use of the Makadiff funding. So I've been very involved from the beginning, just with seeing if it's something that would work for the OST, and then for finding ways to utilize that funding and plan a series of different trainings and workshops. We worked with a number of different partners, many of whom are on the OST Planning Committee. Those groups include BGC Biggs, Everactive Schools, Edmonton Mennonite Center for Newcomers, Catholic Social Services, Edmonton Catholic School District, Be Fit for Life, Edmonton Sport Council, City of Edmonton, ESA, and Duke of Edinburgh were just a few of the many partners that we worked with, some of the key partners. I think that the OST is dependent upon partnership. Every aspect of it is based upon partnership. The whole philosophy of the collaboration is to collaborate, to work together. So in this case, I think that partnership was key throughout every step of the process, and I think it had a tremendous impact. It brought together a lot of creative minds, a lot of resources, a lot of agencies who have things they can offer, and to bring all those groups and organizations together is the best thing, because we can find creative ways to utilize what we have to deliver the highest quality support and training to groups. So I think that partnership is key, and all the work we do is based on partnership. And so I think we see that in the quality of what we deliver. We see that in the partners that we continue to connect with, and then to see actually in the programs, to see the groups that received the trainings and attended the workshops, to see their programs throughout the year. We've seen them improve as well. To the quality assurance around athletic training and athletic activities, I think that this did meet that target. I think when I see the programs that are running, when a group does a physical activity, or they do a time of playing or outside games, it's a lot more intentional now. I think in previous years we saw it just as kind of a break in the programming, whereas now a lot of the training is very thoughtful, very organized, very intentional, in that it's not just about getting kids active, but there's some reason behind why they're doing what they're doing, some understanding of how physical activity helps every aspect of a child's development. So I've seen that for sure in the planning of programs and in the delivery of what they're doing. In terms of community development, I would say that the work we do is continually focused on building the strengths and capacities of communities, and I've seen that as well, just that the groups we're working with, they take this training and they apply it. Their youth, their staff that they hire every year becomes more equipped, more able to deliver high quality programming. And then these are people from the communities. Often small community groups will hire staff from the community they serve, and then they build these strengths back into their programs and communities. So I think in many ways that the community development model or approach has been met. I like that they range in terms of very accessible to quite specialized. I think for the groups that we work with, the biggest need is on very practical, pragmatic things that you can implement right away. The coaching things are incredible, but a lot of the staff we work with are present on a 1 or 2 year basis. So it's more about working with young staff to quickly equip them with some skills that they can implement in a short amount of time. There are trainings like this available, but to see a larger number of these I think would be very beneficial. It was incredible for us to receive this funding, for us to receive this grant. It helped us to further the work we were doing. It was unexpected on my part. I didn't even know about it, but through our partnerships, we were able to access it. So it was something that came at a good time. We've been growing every year in terms of the number of partners we're working with and the number of things we're offering. So it came at a good time in that it helped us to increase the amount of training we were delivering.
So my name is Lindsay Wright and I work for Be Fit for Life out of Edmonton, and my role is to coordinate the Edmonton Be Fit for Life Centre, as well as I also coordinate the 9 centres around the province. Playgrade has been operating in Edmonton for about the last 4 or 5 years. It's a collective of like-minded individuals who are providing physical literacy-based programming, and it kind of crosses over different sectors. So there's recreation, there's schools and teachers involved, as well as early childhood professionals. Pretty much anyone that's working with children and youth kind of in the Edmonton area that might be interested in using the concepts of physical literacy to enhance their programming. The Makadiff project to support the training of leaders that are working in the Edmonton area with children and youth to provide physical activity opportunities, and working with the Alberta Parks Recreation Association as well as Reach Edmonton. So I think that the outcomes definitely were met through this project, and especially looking at the community-based approach. We were really trying to work with the community to ensure that the program and training that were being offered really met their needs, and so there were a few times where we tried a few trainings that maybe were a little bit less well attended, so then we kind of had to tweak and work with that community to get some feedback on what actually was needed, and that kind of helped to target the training opportunities. From my involvement with the project, it worked quite well. There was lots of opportunity to provide feedback, and we had quite a few meetings to kind of discuss options, and like I said before, in working with this group, we really have an opportunity to see what exactly the practitioners were interested in, and then bringing it back to the group. So there was lots of opportunity for collaboration and ideas and sharing as part of the project. I think some of the lessons learned from this project are that sometimes when you're working on kind of a higher level where you're looking at developing some of these training and building capacity of organizations, sometimes they're not necessarily where you think they might be at, or you might assume that they're ready to go through the entire training process and kind of get everything finished, but there are so many different levels working within some of the organizations that we were trying to target through this project that we really had to think about meeting, you know, the small levels of organizations as well as ones that are a little bit larger. So there was a lot of learning on that angle, because I think that there were Initially, we were hoping that we'd be able to, everyone would kind of do the same training process, but in the end, people kind of picked and choose the ones that best suited them and their needs within their work. From this project, again, we learned that you have to really meet the needs of the groups that you're working with, and sometimes some of the challenges around what time to offer the course or what days to offer the course or whether it's on the weekend or evening, really considering those factors when you're offering some of these training opportunities. From this project specifically, the participants seemed to really like the hands-on opportunities, so they were really looking for things that they could use right away when we're talking about more of the frontline staff and some of the opportunities that they can take away and lead right away in their programs.
So my name's Tracy Lockwood, and I actually own a business called Play Education Consulting, and so my role in the business is I'm the owner and pretty much the sole person that runs the company, but it's based on physical education, physical activity, and physical literacy. So I do a lot of movement-based workshops and things like that. So I was involved in the Makadiff project through facilitation. I did some sessions, and they were, first of all, the first group of people that came to the session were kind of train the trainer group, the supervisory staff, so the staff that would take the information and then bring it back to their frontline staff and to be able to train them. And the workshop was called Focus on Fundamentals, and so it was based on a resource that I developed that is a planning guide as well as an activity-based resource. So they were able to take away the information from that resource and then bring it straight to their staff and really feel confident and competent about presenting it to them, and then so forth, and then their staff bringing it back to their kids and in their programs. I've been involved in the Out of School Time Collaborative for quite a few years, and it's been really rewarding, very fulfilling, because I've been able to, present at the Out of School Time Conference a few years ago, and then again last year. So just able to bring information that is based on physical literacy development, and just be able to help train the staff to then bring it back to either the frontline staff or there were frontline staff involved. So they could, it was just really practical based hands-on learning, lots of movement sessions that I was able to do, bringing Focus on Fundamentals, and also Dance Play, a program that really is interactive and gets kids moving and engaging in physical activity. And and it's always been, a very rewarding thing to come and work with people that are working with kids in the Boys and Girls Club, and working with kids in out of school time programs that are so receptive to the activities, and just are really just grateful to have these activities brought to them through the Out of School Time conference that I got to present at. The Play Great group, the Physical Literacy and You Greater Edmonton group, has been fantastic. So I've been a part of the group since its inception. I believe it's been at least 5 years that I've been a part of this group, and I sit on the committee, kind of help with decision making. It's been a great networking situation where we can connect with each other, different groups, different organizations, and recreation. So many trainings, so many trainings in physical literacy development, because that's my passion. That's kind of the foundation of my business, being a physical education teacher for past 25 years, being an educator, and then starting this business, Play Education. It's really focused on physical literacy development, and so some of the trainings that I do include physical literacy and you, or purposeful play in the early years, working with education and recreation and health and sport, just to bring those groups together to forward physical literacy development. So the other sessions I do, of course, are Focus on Fundamentals, based on the resource that I just developed, and then Dance Play, which is an interactive way of teaching dance. It's a 360-degree approach where kids actually get to move throughout the space and they don't realize that there's a structured approach to dance play. So it's been a program that I've helped deliver through workshops with the Makadiff project, but also delivered them like hundreds of times throughout the province.
My name is Josh Dooling. I'm a volunteer coordinator with Catholic Social Services Immigration and Settlement. In my role there, I get to help newcomer youth integrate into Canadian society through homework club programs and summer camps. So I've been involved with the Out of School Time Collaborative roughly since I joined Catholic Social Services nearly a year ago. Being a part of the OST gatherings several times a year allows us to really engage with other community partners and really just provides an outlet to learn more about what's happening in the city, as well as the OST conference that happened this summer. We're able to take our summer staff who work with us to help put on the summer camp and put them through the conference. It allows them to gain really valuable skills. So I've been through several trainings as part of the Makadiff program. The first one being the High Five Sport workshop that I was a part of. I later went on to do the High Five Quest, as well as the Ever Active Schools Move and Play program. The training was really awesome. It really provided me with an opportunity to learn about different parts of my job that I might not have really understood properly coming in. So it really enabled me to learn more about tools that I had access to and that I can take with me immediately and start using. The different programs and different trainings really opened up as far as what the scope looked like for my program and allowed me to work with staff in a much more impactful way. The resources that were provided through the programming were incredible, both the ones that were given away and the ones that we were made known of for purchase afterward. They all are just really fine-tuned as far as what their purpose is, and really adds an extra element to our programming. For example, the Anna Moves cards that we would have used in the Move and Play workshop, we took that into our summer camp and used games that we had learned in training right out of the box, and found them really impactful with the kids and really, really easy for them to understand, especially being a lot of newcomer youth. They're really intuitive and the kids were really engaged with the program tools. Yeah, many of the trainings definitely opened, different avenues for learning new things. Physical literacy is something that I had little to no knowledge of before starting these trainings, and being able to go through with these different programs really opened my eyes as to what we need to be focusing on, along with English literacy skills in our programs. So the trainings were really impactful, and I found that we take it and use it in many different ways throughout our programming. The training is extremely relevant to what we're doing with our programming at CSS. It opens different avenues for different types of programming. So not only are we focusing on English literacy, but we've taken the physical literacy tools from our programming and been able to apply that directly to what we're doing with our newcomer youth.
My name is Janelle Plasko. I'm the Youth Initiative Coordinator for the Multicultural Health Brokers. And so I have this amazing opportunity to work with community youth groups and community youth mentors in a number of immigrant and refugee communities throughout Edmonton. There's 16 different groups that we are working with in Edmonton. And of those 16, it's about 8 different immigrant and refugee community cultures that are represented. For the past, I don't know how long it has been, I think 5 years at least, the Multicultural Health Brokers Youth Initiative has been involved with Reach Edmonton, and as the Out of School Time Collaborative has grown, our connection with the collaborative has grown as well, and so we are one of the one of the community groups that sits around the table. I believe that our role is a little bit unique because we represent the multicultural health brokers, and my position at the table, at the OST table, represents these 8 other communities and 16, at least 16 youth programs that are running. So the majority of the involvement that we had with the grant program, was with the NCCP Part A and Part B programs. I don't remember the exact number of people that were involved in the trainings, but the groups were the most excited about becoming a part of, having the opportunity to do the NCCP training, Part A and Part B. So the NCCP Part A and Part B trainings for us were really, really exciting because it gave the youth leaders, who are all volunteers, community volunteers, an opportunity to put some credentials behind their names, have some formal training that they obviously are utilizing in their communities, but also they have then the opportunity to apply to other positions and jobs with that in their pockets, and kind of giving them that next step up. I think that the majority of the comments that I had heard from the participants in the NCCP training were that a lot of it was that they knew about it, but it was put together in such a way that that they were then able to utilize the information that they already had more effectively in the volunteer work that they were doing in the communities.